Hey, everybody, and thanks for joining me on another episode of Straight Jacket White Rabbit. My name's Adam, and as usual, I'll be your host. You guys, have you ever seen Child's Play, maybe Puppet Master, any of the other famous horror movies based on dolls? There's a lot of them. But most people, when pressed about it, can only name one real life example of a haunted doll, which is Annabelle. I will talk about Annabelle a little bit on the end of this, but what I wanted to do today is bring you some of my favorite examples of other real life haunted dolls. There are a lot of them, you guys, believe it or not. There are believed to be thousands around the world, certainly hundreds here in the US. Okay, first up, I want to talk about Mandy the doll, you guys. Now, Mandy the doll was donated to a museum in 1991 by an anonymous woman who claimed that since she had put this doll into her basement because it was causing distress in her household, we'll say, which is, I believe, code for paranormal stuff was happening. She claimed to hear crying from the basement, from the box in the corner where this doll was kept nightly, to the point where it was disrupting her household. Now, the legend of this doll, matching the exact description of Mandy the doll, has been found as far back as, I believe it was 1904 in the UK. It is said that this doll was the sole possession of a girl who was found in a home. I'm sorry, this is a little sad. She was found in the cellar of a home, severely neglected, and passed away clutching this doll. The parents were both arrested for child neglect as well as other crimes. But the doll matches the description of this same doll to a T, which a lot of people say it isn't the same doll. A lot of people say it is. The argument isn't that the doll is the exact same description. The argument is whether or not just because this doll looks similar or the same as the other doll doesn't mean it's not another mass-produced doll. And I agree with that, you guys. But the fact is that this doll has no prominent history. We don't know where it came from. But the woman who donated it anonymously claims to have gotten it from a charity auction. Now, the company that she purchased it through for a charity auction, the only thing we know about the company, it is a UK, Europe-based company. So it is entirely within the realm of possibility that Mandy the doll was the doll found in the arms of this neglected child who had passed away in the home in the UK. Now, Mandy the doll has got a lot of baggage. She's said to create everything from a sickness feeling to accidents, like things breaking, falling off shelves, not like accidents involving people, as the Annabelle doll is. But there's just so much inside her story. From the crying to giving people nightmares to, which is a theme in dolls, by the way. All of them, including Annabelle, tend to get into people's heads and cause nightmares. Now, whether or not this is just a psychological effect of being near a doll that is this unnerving, it's a possibility. But ghosts, spirits, demons, all of these things can influence dreams. So it isn't, like I said, it isn't out of the realm of possibility. So that's Mandy the doll, you guys. The next one I want to talk about is probably even almost a little less well known than Mandy. It's Ruby the haunted doll. For those of you who have not heard of or seen Ruby the haunted doll is a creepy looking porcelain doll with a very long history in one family being passed down for generations. Okay, this doll was passed down from generation to generation for over 100 years. Now, it ended up being in a museum's collection of paranormal artifacts. A young girl in the family who is said to have died while holding the doll in a house fire. And the family of this girl believes that the girl's spirit remained attached to this doll. The doll is known for causing feelings of sadness if you hold it, if you get near it. It causes like almost an extreme depression, you guys. And imparting emotion onto people is something ghosts do very well, okay? Be it anger, sadness, frustration, angst, happiness in some cases. Depending on the spirit. I know we don't hear a lot about the happiness ones, but it does happen, you guys. Ghosts can affect people's emotions fairly easily for them. It's like one of the easiest tricks that they can do is affect emotion. People who have held to this doll have burst into tears uncontrollably. Ruby is known, like I said, for causing feelings of sadness, but also of sickness in people who react with it. People have come down with severe congestion and coughing fits, extreme cases of nausea where they're throwing up. Which, I mean, coughing fits if she died, and if the girl holding this doll is really the one possessing it and she died in a fire, she may be imparting, accidentally even, the way she passed towards people. And nausea, believe it or not, you guys, nausea is something that comes from a lack of air a lot of the times in people who die with fire as a result. Not as a result, I'm sorry, as a side effect. Like people who survive house fires who have lots of smoke inhalation, that lack of oxygen that you're getting will cause extreme nausea in cases. So people believe that the nausea and the sadness and the coughing and all this stuff is really just an imprint of this girl's emotions that this doll emits. And I mean, the doll to me, like I said, you guys, I think all of the dolls that I'm going to show you here today creep me out on a personal level. I don't like dolls. Although I've always said, if I've got to fight something that's haunted, a doll would probably scare me the least in person, just because of the fact that I'm going to grab you and throw you in a fireplace or rip your little doll arms off. I don't like them and they creep me out, so it's full-on warfare if a haunted doll ever comes at me. But Ruby the doll, this doll right here, like I said, you guys, has a sad past. I mean, the girl died in a fire. Her family truly believes this doll has her spirit in it. I believe this doll is still traveling to this day, and I want to say it's an occult museum, a traveling occult museum. I'm sure you can look up more on that. Okay, so now that we've talked about Mandy and we've talked about Ruby, I want to talk about another doll. Surprise, surprise. This haunted doll is known as Leta the doll. Now, Leta, also known as Leta Me Out, is a 200-plus-year-old wood-carved doll with human hair. This doll is believed to be found under a haunted house that was abandoned in Australia. Now, the original finder of this doll at the haunted house was Carrie Walton, who claims that the doll is possessed 6 ways from Sunday, and she's had paranormal activity thing associated with the doll, things like the doll appearing in different spots of the house, moving on its own and being seen moving on its own. What was it? Something about the floor. It was scuff marks on the floor, like shoe prints, but just scuffs on the floor, or scuffs on the floor that were caused by it sliding on the floor. I didn't mean shoe prints like our shoe prints. I meant like its footprints, but scuffs from it, like moving from walking on the floor. Also, this thing apparently gave her children extraordinary night terrors. Not just nightmares. Like, I mean, they would wake up screaming that this doll was coming after them or attacking them, holding them down. Kerry Walton and I want to say it was the brother. Yeah, I think it was the brother. So Kerry Walton and the brother discovered this doll while investigating the haunted house. It's all kinds of just crazy haunted as far as moving around and giving people nightmares. Even dogs, you guys, even dogs react, and different animals react to this doll by becoming extremely aggressive. They will start growling and snarling, barking at it, like extraordinarily aggressive towards this doll. However, Walton believes that the doll has brought them and their family good luck, according to his appearances on TV. I'm not quite sure how you can constitute this as giving you good luck when your family is getting night terrors. This thing is moving around your house and freaking members of your family out so bad that they're waking up screaming. He says it's brought them good fortune. It's brought good luck to their family. He believes, in fact, that taking care of this doll has enabled him to live a better life. Now, me personally, anything that messes with my children, I wouldn't necessarily call it a good luck charm. But I mean, to each their own. I can't. If he's experienced good luck from it and he believes it's a good luck thing, he's probably going to keep it in his family for a while, at least until those kids get a hold of it. And then I'm pretty sure they're going to get rid of it on their own. I'm just saying, I definitely would. Now, we've talked about some other dolls. I want to get into the next one, moving right along here, you guys, is Robert the doll. For those of you who don't know about Robert the doll, this is a great story, okay? Robert the doll was created around 1904 by the Steiff Company in Germany, and it was given as a gift to a young boy named Robert Eugene Otto. Otto, who lived in Key West, Florida. Now, Otto passed away, but I want to give you a little bit of background into Otto's life with this doll. Otto received this doll when he was a very young kid. He dressed this doll in his own clothing, and by accounts from family members and friends, he was constantly treating this doll as if it was alive. Now, the family has no reports early on of this doll being haunted, other than the fact that Robert claimed that anytime something bad happened in the house, things would get broken, things would be moved from one room into his room, into Robert's room. Now, I don't mean Robert the doll, I mean Robert Otto, the person. Anytime this happened, Robert would blame the doll. And this happened all the way into adulthood, which is unusual, okay? Most people don't keep blaming it on the doll. They grow out of that type of stuff if it's just, a child's imagination or trying to be cute. You think they would grow out of this, but he didn't. Robert Otto continued into adulthood blaming this doll for bad things that would happen around the house. Anytime someone's things would go missing, he would blame Otto. Anytime things would break or be moved or anything like that, or not blame Otto, blame Robert. But he would blame Robert for everything. Now, when he died, his wife packed up the doll, put it in the attic, and a few years later, she passed away herself, unfortunately. So, when she passed away, things got a little more hectic because the person who next unveiled Robert from the attic was, let me see here, hold on. Okay, so I found the name. It was Myrtle. So the Otto family was done. The Otto and Robert Otto and his wife both have passed away. The doll Robert was still in the attic of the house, and when the new owner turned up, Myrtle Reuter, she cleared out the attic and donated Robert the doll to Key West Art and Historical Society at the Fort East Martello Museum, citing the doll's apparent paranormal activity. So now that I have Myrtle's name, I can fill in the gaps from there, because I'm sorry, but I forgot her name. So what happened is when Myrtle found this doll, it wasn't just that she cited paranormal activity. She unpacked this doll while unpacking numerous other items, and she was sorting through what they were going to keep in the house and what they were going to donate or sell or get rid of. Robert the doll purportedly didn't like being moved to the location she moved in, so he moved himself downstairs, out of the attic. According to people who know Myrtle, she woke up the next day with him sitting in the living room. And it scared her so bad that she immediately took it to go be donated. Now, the stories of this doll Robert, you guys, there's so many different versions of the legend. There's one that says his family was known to have Bohemian descendant servants in their home who they paid meagerly and didn't treat very well. And one of the rumors is that one of the servants in the house actually put a voodoo curse on the doll as a revenge for not being treated with the respect that they deserve. Now, that rumor rings a little more true than the other ones because of the respect issue, you guys. Those of you who don't know Robert the doll's background, this doll is known for causing stuff to happen to you if you disrespect it in any way. So much so that the museum Robert is currently in actually requests all patrons to ask permission from Robert before taking a photo of him. There have been so many accounts of bad luck and strings of bad occurrences happening to people who disrespect Robert that the museum has often boasted at the amount of apology letters and videos that they receive for Robert from people who have disrespected this doll. This doll has purportedly caused everything, you guys, from auto accidents to sickness to just the most extreme runs of bad luck that you could possibly imagine. Things this doll is purported to do besides move on its own and cause bad things to happen. Robert the doll is also known to change facial expressions, close its eyes, which isn't possible, by the way. I'm just saying the doll's eyes don't close, but people will see its eyes closed and blink and move. So, really creepy doll, you guys. Like I said, a lot of these, I don't know if you guys have heard of all of these or not, some of these, but a lot of these dolls have very prominent things in common. Not all dolls are inhabited by human spirits, okay? They're not all ghosts in a doll. Some are demons. Some are curses or just hexed objects, whatever you want to call them. Objects that tend to accrue this negative entity, this negative force and energy, not entity, energy. There are objects like this in the world, you guys. So it doesn't always have to be that someone died with it in their arms, like in some of these cases. Some cases, objects are purposefully cursed. In some cases, objects are purposefully inhabited by spirits who have nothing to do with the object. They just like their new home. They go, that's not a bad place to be. I'm going to stay in this for a while. And it happens. And people try to get rid of these a lot, you guys. They really do. I mean, they fight tooth and nail to get rid of haunted dolls, and a lot of the time, it just makes things worse. And I'll give you Robert as an example. The bad luck did not cease when Myrtle got rid of Robert. She actually had a very long stretch of bad luck that lasted for over a year that she accrues to the fact that she believes that Robert felt disrespected when she donated him. There have been people who have left after taking pictures of Robert without permission, who have been in near fatal collisions and automobile accidents, had cases of their brakes not working. I mean, that might make you a believer. You mock this thing's ability and you leave after disrespecting it, and all of a sudden your brakes fail on your car completely. But still, we have people who test the limits and who will show up to these places in great hordes to be disrespectful on purpose. And we're shocked and awed when they write apology letters to Robert the doll. So, yeah, be careful what you're showing disrespect to, especially in the supernatural world, you guys. I've said it before on my show, if you haven't seen some of my episodes on ghosts. Like, one of the reasons why I'm like, when I watch shows like Ghost Adventure is because they're constantly using provocation. And provocation, yes, it gets you responses, even from things that aren't demonic. It is very quick to get a stronger response. But it's not always the most appropriate action to take. And sometimes it can be downright dangerous. So anyone who does practice paranormal investigating and stuff, I would just say use extreme caution when dealing with something that you're trying to provoke, because you don't always know how strong the entity that you're in contact with is. And in cases like Annabelle, which was the next one we're going to get to, you could end up doing a lot of damage to yourself. Annabelle is another one who has messed people up by causing brake failure, automobile accidents, sicknesses, general strings of bad luck. Annabelle is purportedly haunted by a demon. Now, that wasn't always the case. The first diagnosis was actually made by a medium, a psychic medium, who investigated the Annabelle doll, the Raggedy Ann doll, and he said that the spirit that was inside the doll was that of Annabelle Higgins, a young girl who had died on the property where the doll was originally found. Well, not found, but where the home of the doll is. Now, for those of you who don't know about Annabelle, let's get into this a little deeper. There was a mom who gifted her daughter, Donna, in 1970, an Annabelle, the Annabelle doll, the Raggedy Ann doll. Donna grew up to be a nursing student, and her roommate, Angie, and her began experiencing strange things going on with this doll. Now, the doll would move. Just a lot of creepy things would go on with this doll. And long story short, it ended up with the Warrens. Now, when the Warrens took it, they took it very seriously. They locked it up. They did all the things they were supposed to do. The doll's been blessed many, many times, and they cannot seem to get rid of the entity that is within the doll. The doll, according to the Warrens, has caused everything from psychic slashes. That is where you cause a physical cut that is bleeding as a spirit. Okay, there's no solid object involved. They just cause you to bleed and be cut. A lot of the people who watch ghost hunter shows will know this as similar to when people receive the 3 scratches mocking the Trinity. Same difference, only psychic slashes, you guys, are to the point of blood being spilled. Ed and Lorraine Warren took this doll extremely serious. They put it in with the most troublesome items in their museum. And they kept great care to keep it locked up and keep it, even after their passing, under conservatorship of people who would be trusted to keep this doll safely away from access to being let out, being unleashed on the public. Now, as much as I gotta say this, you guys. I love the I love the Warren family. I love the movies. I'm a huge Conjuring fan. The museum, I don't understand the fascination with everyone putting haunted dolls in museums. You guys, you're just giving these things opportunities to mess up more people. And while I agree it's great promotion for the paranormal field, because it's things that people can come and see and experience with their own eyes, it puts people at an unnecessary risk level when you're dealing with something like this, you guys, because people who are coming there to just pay their, I don't want to say respects, but they're going there to see something that's a physical wonder to the world. I understand this. But there are people who go there specifically to antagonize these spirits. And some of these things are dangerous. Annabelle is especially dangerous. Okay, we are talking about something that is a known demonic entity, because although it was identified by the original medium as Annabelle Higgins, the young girl, when the Warrens came in, they did a very extensive investigation. The church and other priests have come in and investigated with them, and all of them have come to this conclusion and this consensus that this is a demon that is possessing this doll. This is not a normal spirit of a little girl. This is a demon. Now, why did the first medium say little girl? It is a well-established trick of demons, you guys, to pretend to be children. They do it all the time. They mimic children voices. They mimic children laughing. They mimic children crying. It doesn't mean that it's the little girl that you're coming through on your psychic, when you're a medium, when you're picking up the energy from this little girl, doesn't necessarily mean that that's whose energy that really is. These things are experts at mocking, at pretending to be innocent so that they can draw people in. Now, Annabelle, you guys, like I said, has a lot of the popularity and a lot of the notoriety. But some of these dolls are as haunted, if not more haunted, in my opinion. Annabelle has gotten the notoriety and the popularity. And yes, Annabelle has done, I'll say, more collective damage. There are more stories of things being attributed directly to Annabelle than most of these other dolls. But some of these other dolls have done things a lot of things to be on the same malicious level as Annabelle. But they don't get the publicity because the Warrens, one of the many things they did, and this is not knocking them as paranormal investigators or anything else, but one of the things they did well is they promoted the field and they promoted their finds. So Annabelle got a lot of attention. Things like Robert the doll, not so much. And this is why there are lesser well-known dolls, haunted dolls, I'm sorry. But I truly believe a lot of these other dolls, like the Leta doll and Robert and just all these other dolls, I do believe that there's a reason why they're lesser well-known, and I believe that reason is the Warrens. I believe the Warrens were just good PR people for Annabelle. And it wasn't that they were PRing for Annabelle. That probably not the best way to say that. But in our field, you guys, they were trying to bring attention. Yes, this exists. These things are here. And look, we have an example of one that we can show you. And their museum does that with a lot of things. Although like I said, I'm kind of on the fence of the museum thing, guys, because I'm not for putting people in danger or unnecessary risk, especially those who are too ignorant of the topic and that's not a dig when I say ignorant of the topic. I mean, just some people don't believe in ghosts. They don't know what they're getting into, and they shouldn't be messing with spirits if they don't understand what's going on or what can happen. But this was my talk on the haunted dolls, you guys. I just wanted to share some of these with you, see if you've heard of them, see what your ideas are on the haunted doll thing. A lot of people ask me why do dolls seem to get possessed more than other toys, and I think it's because they have that familiar feeling of two arms, two legs, a head they can turn. What's the fun in being a Tonka truck? I think it's just a familiarity thing. It's like a human body. It's smaller, yes, but it's easily manipulated by them because they are familiar with that shape. But like I said, I love the whole idea of it. It creeps me out to no end. Like, I would never hold a haunted doll in my house. I would get rid of it immediately. But a lot of people don't feel the same way. And speaking of, those of you who don't know, Annabelle's conservatorship actually recently changed hands. And one of the people it changed hands to was Matt Rife, the comedian. Matt Rife apparently has a great love for the paranormal and respect for it, so that's a good thing. I'm glad he's one of the people who are now one of the new conservators of the Warren Museum, which puts him fairly in charge of Annabelle the doll and all the other artifacts for that matter. I am a little disturbed, but I've heard rumors they're wanting to turn it into a hotel. It's already a museum, you guys. You already have people going there and messing with this thing daily. Not sure putting rooms in is going to be the best thing for you. I mean, yes, it's probably going to generate a ton of money, especially if there's activity that goes on in these rooms after they open this place. But is it worth the risk of messing up and potentially lethally messing up somebody's life? We're dealing with a museum that deals with a lot of cursed objects, haunted objects, occult objects that are very powerful, very negatively charged with energy. And energy goes places, guys. It's really hard to confine these energies, especially how many different energies that are in this museum. But that's going to be all for me for tonight, you guys. I appreciate every one of you guys for watching my channel. As always, the Good Vibe Tribe is always welcome here, my brother's crew and friends. For all of you, from all of me and all of us, I love you guys. You guys are awesome. But I really do appreciate you guys watching my channel like you do. And I want to just say, I hope you guys have an awesome night. And as usual, I'll talk to you later. This has been Straight Jacket White Rabbit signing off.